Hey everybody, today I'm going to use Jazza's Pro Artist Series art box that he did in collaboration with Spectrum Noir, and I'm so excited for this box. I'm going to unbox all of the items, then gonna color in one of his coloring pages that are in there, and then I'm going to create my own art using the supplies. Let's open this. Beards. This barely fits into frame. Now we're cutting it open and here it is. So pretty. I love the packaging. I love that he went for a more minimalist style this time. I think previously in his art boxes, I didn't have any of those, but I think previously there was a lot more going on, and this one is a bit more minimalist, a bit more white and less of everything, and I think it looks really good. I think it looks very professional, high quality, and I'm so excited to try this out. Here you can see the markers, and we have a bullet tip and a brush tip and some ASMR, and I'm unpackaging the coloring pages first, and here you can see a sneak peek of them all, and I decided to use this one. Of course, this is right up my alley. And then we have this eraser and some pencils and some pens, fine liner pens. Snip, snip. And here are the color pencils. I was really excited to try these. Here you can see them close up, and now I'm getting started with the coloring page. I did this one first, and initially I wanted this to be sort of like a warm-up. I wanted to be done with this in maybe an hour, but that did not happen. I think I spent about 5 hours coloring this, and I just wanted to go all in and add as many details as I could and wanted, and there are a lot of details in this coloring page. And here you can see the blendability of these markers. I have to say I was really impressed because this tan color and the brown tone are very far apart in color or in hue. Is that the hue? I always get that confused. But they're very different and they blended very well. And you can see here I used a purple colored pencil for the shadows, and I love doing that. I love using purple for the shadows. Went a little bit overboard and then cleaned it up with an eraser. Now that we're finished with the deer, let's get started with the background and see how that goes. So now on to this huge, detailed background. I mean, there's so much in there, and I decided to do even more details, as you can see here with the colored pencils. Every time I use colored pencils, I add so many details because there is so much that you can do with colored pencils, and I love it. I always love using them. But as some of you might know who regularly watch my videos, I don't use colored pencils that often just because it takes forever and always when I use them. Because I add so many details, it just takes too long, so I can do that on a regular basis because I don't always have that much time for my videos, and I also don't always have the patience to spend so much time on an art piece. But whenever I use colored pencils, I just can't stop myself. I always do so many details, and I really enjoyed going all in for this video and doing this. And here you can see the marker in action. I had a lot of fun with these. I have to say, I've never used Spectrum Noir markers before. I've heard of them many times. I knew that they're a thing for years and years. Even before I started YouTube, I knew that these were good markers because I saw so many people using them, but they were never very completely trendy. I mean, they were known, I assume, but not everyone owned them. They were not like Copics or now Uhuhu markers that everyone talks about. So they were always a brand that was there, but not really that much. They're always a little bit in the background, if that makes any sense. And so I never tried them, and I don't think that they're available here. I mean, I'm sure I could have just ordered them online, so if I really wanted to try them, I could have. But I think that this art box is the perfect opportunity to finally try them. And I've used a lot of brands of markers before. I've used Copics, I've used Winsor & Newton Pro and brush markers, I've tried Ohuhu markers, I've tried very cheap markers, I've tried all different kinds of brands, even though markers are not my main thing and I don't use them that often in videos, but I've tried different brands, and I have to say that these are very much, I think they're similar to Copics. I have to check if they are refillable. I don't know that right now, but I'm sure somebody is gonna comment about that. But other than that, if they are refillable, I would say they are probably as good as Copics. And if they're not, then that's a downside, because that's what I love about Copics, that you can just refill them. But honestly, I love using them. I love that they are so thick and chunky, and that really helps my hands because I do have chronic pain and I struggle with markers, and they were really nice to hold, even though the shape was, I had to get used to the shape a little bit, but I love that they are so thick. And you can see here with the foreground bushes that they blend so nicely, and I did so many layers. I put this paper through a lot because I just couldn't decide on the colors that I wanted. And also here with the shadows, I think I did at least 4 different layers. I started with brown, then I added a little bit of blue, then I did purple, and then with a colored pencil, I added in more blue later on. So I did so many shades of different colors and just played around with these colors, and I have to say that I had a blast. I was completely hyper focused on this, and the time just went by. And I usually, because I have ADHD, have a hard time to do something for more than an hour, almost impossible. And most of the time I need to distract myself and listen to something on the side. But this time, since these are new products and I just had a little bit of a challenge coloring in this piece, it was so fun. I was completely hyper focused on this. Time passed and I didn't even really notice, and I was having a great time. So I assume that's what it is all about. It's mostly about the experience, and I have to say that I had a very good experience. If you liked this video so far, you might also enjoy my stickers, prints, and courses, which you can find in my online shop. The links for that are in the description box below. About the coloring pencils, I heard from someone, or a few people actually, that they're not the best quality. So I was really curious to figure that out for myself, because some people said they're awesome and other people said they're not the best. So I really had to try them for myself, and I have to say, they're somewhere in between. They're not the high-end colored pencils, but they're also absolutely not bad. I think that they're really good, actually. I had a lot of fun using them, but also I have to say that I use them in a specific style, as you can see here, more of a doodly style, I would say. It's not a realistic style, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how well they would work for a realistic style, and I have to say that they are very soft, so I had to sharpen them quite a bit to get pointy edges with them and to get in the details. But I mean, you always have some kind of payoff. Either you have hard pencils and then they feel hard and stiff and are harder to use, or you have soft pencils and then you have to sharpen them more. So I don't think there's a magic solution that's there where you get the perfect pencil. I've used Faber-Castell Polychromos a lot, and I would say they're slightly better than these, but I've also used more student grade supplies, and I would say that these are better than the student grade colored pencils. So I would say they're probably exactly worth the price that they are. I looked it up. I think they're about 20 euros. The set that's included here, and I would say that makes sense, and I really like them. I don't have anything to say against them. They're not the most high-end supplies, but they're also absolutely not bad supplies at all. I had a lot of fun using them, and the markers as well. You can see in the next art piece that I'm gonna do afterwards that the markers are a little bit blotchy when you do greater areas, but that happens with all alcohol markers, even with Copics. So I wouldn't say that that's a sign of bad quality. So here we are now finishing up this piece, and here you can see the colored page. I also did some details with a white gel pen, and this is it. This is the bleed through on the other page. I don't think it's too bad, and here you can see all of the details that I put in here. I had so much fun with this page. So now that we have colored in one of Jazza's coloring pages, which was a big challenge for me, I want to try my own art piece. So let's see how that goes. So now I am unpacking the paper that we also have in the set where no line art is on it. And I tried the paper, and I think you can color on both pages. I mean, you can pick one and it will bleed through, so you can't color on both pages with the markers, but I think it doesn't matter which page you use. I tried that, and here you can see I did a little fish and also used the pens for this, and the eraser. I have to say the eraser is a weird texture. I mean, it works, but it feels very weird in my hands. I don't know how to describe it. It feels like I'm touching sand, but it works. So I don't know what else to say about it. And the pencils are very basic pencils, and the pens are really nice. I really like the brush pen because I got these thicker and thinner lines, and I'm not the best at line art, but I really enjoyed using it. And you can see here that the fish is now orange. Almost looks like a mixture of a koi and the goldfish, but the original fish that I had as a reference, I don't know what they're called, but the original was pink, and I wanted to make the fish pink, but the set does not have a pink tone. That's honestly my only real complaint about the set. I love the color selection. There are really nice tones in there, and I tried to figure out which color I would ditch and replace with a pink tone, a real pink tone. There are these rosy tones in there, but not a real magenta kind of pink. And I don't know which color I would ditch, honestly. Probably one of the red tones, but that's a personal preference that I just don't like red as much. But there's no real pink in there. And we have these beautiful purple tones. I love the blue tones. I love the fact that there are a bunch of gray tones in there as well, because you can use them to kind of desaturate the colors that are in there. We have very saturated colors, and then you have the option to use the gray to desaturate the colors or add shadows or stuff like that. And I did that with the fish. So I used the very, very bright orange tone and then desaturated it a little bit, and that works really nicely. And I just personally don't like red that much, so I would probably ditch one of the red tones, but I'm sure a lot of people love those red tones, so it's really hard to decide this. So I assume Jazza had a hard time picking the colors for this, and I think he did a great job, but I have to say I just missed the pink because I love it. I love using pink, and I really would have loved to have it here. And you can see that the fish has a very colorful background. I just wanted to use a lot of colors and do something very, I don't know, playful and illustrative. I think it's a lot, the piece. I probably would have preferred it to be a bit less, but what can I say? I just wanted to go all in here and do a bunch of doodles, and The foreground elements are in this orange tone, and here you can see I did a lot of the shadows with the gray and blue tones. And here you can see that I used the blender to make these bubbles, and I just love doing things like that with alcohol markers. It's really fun. And then I added in a lot of details with colored pencils because I just couldn't stop myself. And you can see that the swirls are a little bit blotchy in the background. Do you approve of my drawing, sir? Hello? Do you approve? And here I'm now coloring in the second kind of foreground plant, and I tried to really get the contrast between the orange and the blue purple tones, and these are now the finishing touches and giving this some shadow as well. And here we have the finished art piece. By the way, these stickers, I don't know if he's ever said it or addressed it, and I just didn't see anyone talk about it. I think that the beard stickers are supposed to kind of cover the pictures of him where he doesn't have a beard yet. That's my theory. I think that one's too big though. There's a smaller one though. I mean, it kind of fits. You can't see his nose anymore. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to check out my shop. I hope I can see you again next time. Goodbye! All around, touch me now. I close my eyes and dream away. My course says all of that can you. I lose my rhythm, lose my soul. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'll take it to the other side. A million dreams is all it's gonna take.